1970.
1970. Is that when it actually started then? 1970.
Yeah,
my
first
year. I remember when we were in the third form, Steve. We used to have the gym assembly upstairs, and Mr. Cutts offered a challenge in one of the assemblies and said, if you give you a bit of advance warning, next week we're going to be playing a certain hymn, and would anybody, he wasn't expecting anybody to turn up, and he said, would anybody like to come and play some music for us next week's junior assembly? And me, Steve, I think, and a couple of others that were just learning with the peripatetics teacher, actually practiced something and played it at the school assembly. This is a year before Barry came. And surprised him with the fact that we all actually turned up and played. So I think that was the first instant of anybody semi-organised playing something. Then obviously when Barry joined us it would have been our fourth form, I think, actually, 1970. We became a bit more organised after that.
So in a way, Mr. Cutts kind of initiated the start, really, by setting the challenge.
Well, I suppose he did in a way, yeah.
So if it started in 1970, is that what we've kind of established?
Yeah,
I think so. I joined in 70 and I started lessons. No, I think there must have been something went out in assembly or something like that, a notice that said if anybody wants to learn to play a brass instrument, come along to what then became the band cupboard. And let's see. And I know I tried underneath the stage, the room under the stage.
Room 18.
Yeah, so
18, yeah.
I tried a cornet first. I suspect he tried everybody on the cornet first, but I couldn't get on with the cornet. So then he tried me on the trombone, and that's where I stayed, on the trombone.
Can I just ask a question?
That was 70.
Did Mr. Cheshire play an instrument as well then? Or did he just do the conducting?
He played on the
euphonium.
Yeah.
Trombone. He played when I conducted St. John's. He played bass trombone for me up there.
Really?
What other teachers were involved in it? I've seen photographs with Mr.
Roger
Ambler involved.
He was on the double B.
Mr. Ambler.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least from scratch, because I got him reading music. I used to give him a couple of lessons at lunchtime.
So, who would like the star performers in the day? I mean, I was kind of an observer of the brass band, if you like. But Steve, Stephen, you were like, everybody said, "Oh, Steve Corbett." Were you the sort of the bit of the star of the show? I don't want to embarrass you too much here.
I'll say yes.
When I went to Lockwood, I was conducting St. John's. I conducted St. John's for 20 years. But, when you tell people, they must think I'm about 103. For about 8 of those years, I was playing at Lockwood and conducting St. John's, and also the music band at the same time. So, but first band, I think it was mostly junior band when I was about 8.
Crikey.
And then I finished at St. John's 5 years ago. So it's a long time.
Yeah. You've enjoyed it. God. You've enjoyed it, though, I'm assuming. Otherwise, you wouldn't have carried on doing it.
I have. Most of it, yeah. It's been good. But it'd take a very big paycheck to get me back in the band again.
Oh, would it? What sort of events you played at the actual school? Coming back to the band at the school, was it like speech days?
Carol services I've got written down. We do the carol service.
Went around the Ashton General Hospital as well, didn't we, playing carols?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was good. I used to enjoy that.
Who remembers going to precinct, shopping precinct, and freezing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing carols down in the precinct. Anything was good because you got out of lessons.
We did a lot of old folks' homes as well.
Yeah.
Black and white minstrel selection, you know, all that sort of stuff. As an anecdote, one of the we quite often were given orange juice and things in the interval, and there was one concert where I was very thirsty, so I drank quite a lot orange juice, and I can't remember what the piece was, but the first piece we were playing after the interval, there was a pause where the whole band stopped for one beat, and I belched on the beat. And it fell apart a bit after that, but yeah, that's an abiding memory. Yes.
Isn't that what they call?
What tune was it?
That what they call?
I can't remember what it was. Yeah, and that's because
I can't remember the tune, but you remember the belch.
So you took repeat literally.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Anyway, coming back to food parcels.
I think, was it maybe one assembly a week? I honestly can't remember, but you used to put a penny in or a couple of pennies into a collection. And when the band went to the precinct, they went with the rattly tins for people to put money in. And that also went to the food parcels. And I think in some of the Black Knight issues that have been uploaded, there are letters of thanks from people, from recipients for these parcels. It was like a sort of charity thing that we did, wasn't it? That the school did every year.
So were you in the band as well, Elaine? Elaine?
Yeah, I went in September 72. I went from Droylsden Girls, so I was there for 2 years, so left July 74.
Pete, when were you in it, Pete, then?
Me, I probably joined the year after it started, because it was certainly already going. I'd been I didn't play any brass instruments at the time, but I'd been a drummer in the Boys Brigade, and they needed a percussionist. And Gary Burgess had a set of guitar drums, which we used throughout whilst I was there. And so I joined, and it all went on from there. And I sort of picked up the tuba, and eventually played the E flat. And then when Dave Hodgson, when you left, I took over your double B, and that was it.
And what did you do, Anne?
Me, I started. Well, I learned in first year how to play a scale of C on the cornet, and once you could play a scale and knew your notes, you were in. So I think
So if only somebody had told me if only somebody had told me it was that easy, I may well have joined myself.